So, I just got to watch this brand new comedy on Netflix called Incoming. This is another sort of modern attempt to kind of capture that super bad, early 2000s comedy vibe of telling this high school drama story that is hard R and just kind of blunt and kind of out there and outrageous. And like with every single movie that tries to be super bad, it's not super bad, but it's still pretty good. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I really didn't know anything about it, wasn't expecting much. I saw the early reviews coming out on Rotten Tomatoes and stuff and thought that might be a hard one to get through because those scores are not looking too hot. But it ended up being a really fun movie that actually had me laughing at most of it, and a movie that I am going to recommend to you throughout this review since it's on Netflix, and it's short, and it's sweet, and it's fun, and it's an easy movie to watch. So Incoming stars this kid Benji, who's played by Mason Thames, the same guy from The Black Phone, if you remember that movie, as him and his friends are starting high school, and yeah, they're getting up to some nonsense in high school. They're chasing girls, they're experimenting with different things, they're going to parties, and they're just putting themselves in fun comedic situations. It is very, very similar to Superbad in the sense that you have these kids trying to go to a party to get women, essentially, and stuff happens. And although a lot of the stuff in this movie, story-wise and character-wise, it doesn't all work, I do think the central characters here of Benji and kind of his friend who is hosting this party, I think they have really great chemistry, and they work well together. They're funny, they're very different than anything you've seen in, yet again, Superbad, but I really like the performances here from them too. Outside of them, a lot of the characters, a little bit forgettable, some of the arcs don't really work, but I do think the jokes surrounding these characters are really well written and had me laughing pretty hysterically early in the movie, and that's because the characters here and the actors involved did a great job of delivering the stuff that was written. I do think the jokes land. Yet again, not super bad funny. You don't have Jonah Hill or Michael Cera here, but it's still really well done, I think. This was a funny movie, especially in the first act. Bobby Cannavale is also in this movie playing this teacher that gets involved in this party. I loved everything with him in this movie. I love him as an actor anytime he shows up. His character in this film is so unbelievably ridiculous, and I just loved it. I thought it was hilarious. The central story of this movie of being a high school kid trying to kind of acclimate to being a high school kid and experimenting with these different things and being yourself and not trying to be somebody else to get friends and get girls and all that stuff. It's kind of cookie cutter. You've seen these themes done before and done a lot better. The emotional stuff here in this story isn't really there, but I don't think that's why you're going to watch a movie like this. You're going to watch a movie like Incoming to get a quick laugh, to put something on that'll fill the air, fill the time, and I think this movie does a really good job at being that forgettable movie you're going to watch on a Friday night that's going to make you laugh a ton. It's not going to completely blow your mind and make you think, wow, that is one of the funniest, best comedies I've ever seen in my life, but it is a movie that is going to give you an hour and a half of pure entertainment and fun in this genre that is overstuffed with a bunch of movies like this. But because this movie is so accessible, being on Netflix, being available right now, it is a movie that I think is perfectly placed on a streaming service. Would I recommend going to pay money to go see this one in a theater? I don't know, because it is not one of those top-tier incredible comedies that come out like once every 5 years, but it is a solid, entertaining ride, and I definitely think this sort of part of this genre, doing comedies about kids, right? Kids in high school, tend to be the funnier movies nowadays. Like, even in a recent movie called Dee Dee, which is not exactly a straight-up comedy, it's more of a drama that has some comedy mixed in, just seeing the kids do outrageous shit and curse and say the dumbest things is some of the funniest stuff you really get out of cinema these days. I don't know, maybe it's just me holding on to my childhood and remembering those things that I was doing like 5, 6, 7 years ago. But these to me still seem to be the best kinds of comedy movies. You just get a great cast of kids and you have them say and do the dumbest shit possible. It always tends to be funny. Superbad proved it. I'm going to mention Superbad more than I'm going to mention the actual movie I'm reviewing here. I do think, like most comedies these days, as you get deeper into the movie, it does sort of fizzle out. Like, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Like, it's not too long of a movie, but I find myself with most comedies, especially Netflix comedies, being really hooked in the first, like, 40 minutes, and then by the time you get past the hour mark and it keeps going, I just zone out, and I am not as locked into the third act of these films, and I don't know if it's really a Netflix and a streamer thing, or just the kind of natural state of these comedy-style movies that you get in this modern-day age of filmmaking, but this is one of those movies that I just kind of checked out in the third act, and I'm not really sure why. But overall, I had a really good time with Incoming. I will give it a 3 out of 5. It is a solid comedy, and if you have Netflix and you're looking to put on a fun movie just to kill some time, this is one that I could safely say you will probably have fun with. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I post every single day. I will see you in the next one.